Charlie Lee Hollingsworth.
Yes, yeah. Charlie Lee Hollingsworth.
So Nettie was dating Charlie Hollingsworth.
If you can,
and,
get a little video.
Hi.
Okay.
And what was he like?
My brother?
Uh-huh.
Well, he was just a kid, nice kid, tall. He was kind of slender. He was fair-skinned and had light hair. And he liked to sing. My sister said if he hadn't have died, she believed he would have been a blues singer.
Oh,
and he graduated from high school here we graduated together, 1936. He wouldn't go to school until I was old enough to go. So he stayed out a full year.
How old was he when he died?
21.
21?
Oh, that's so sad.
21.
Wow.
So were they dating when he died?
I believe they would have gotten married if he hadn't got killed.
Who would you be?
She's
sitting here.
And he got killed by a drunk driver, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know whether he was drunk or
well,
not.
but that's what y'all suspected, wasn't it?
But
Isn't that what you told me?
Might not have been drunk, but there was two men out with a married woman here in town. We learned that later on, see, and they didn't stop. And one of them was a married man.
Wow.
But they just hit him out here on the highway.
So Nettie might have married your brother.
Yeah.
And who knows what kids she would have had.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, she had me.
She had you and Linda, didn't she? Yeah, that was sufficient. But no, he was 21 in December, and I was 19 when he got killed.
Did he have a job when he got killed?
No.
Was he still in school?
He had been to Houston looking for work. It's during the Depression, 1938.
Yeah.
And he was coming home, and he was hitchhiking, and he was out here just at the edge of town, almost home, and it was just getting daylight.
Wow.
He said he heard the car coming, but he said, I didn't even turn around and look back because I wasn't hitching a ride. I knew I'd be home in a few minutes. I'd get me a hot bath and a good breakfast and get me some good sleep.
And he got hit, but he didn't die immediately.
He died the next day.
So he was able to talk a little bit.
Yeah, he was able to talk. He was conscious and clear on up until when he started to die. And
How sad.
And when he knew that he long the next day.
Internal injuries.
His legs were broken. They said when they picked him up, his legs just dangled like that. He had internal injuries from here to just like that.
Oh my!
And he talked to Mama and Daddy. He said, "Now, Mama, if I don't make it," he said, "I know I'm hurt bad, and if I don't make it, don't accuse somebody that didn't do this."
Oh. Well, did they catch and indict? Did they catch and indict those people?
I didn't hear what you said.
Did they catch the people who did it?
They both committed suicide.
Really?
One committed that they had their eye on it. My brother described his car.
Yeah. You told me. Yeah, I remember you told me.
They described he didn't know who it was. He described the car. And he would work for the highway department, and he came into town on Monday morning to start work. My brother had been buried on Sunday, which was Mother's Day. And the man come to work, and the men was all in a group. That's what they were discussing. And he just walked up and said, "What's all this about?" or something like that. And they said, "Well, did you hear about the wreck, that the boy that got run over?" And he said that he had died, and they had his funeral yesterday. And one of the men, he lived right down yonder, and we lived right there, close neighbors. We were well thought of, and my brother was a fine person. Mm-hmm. And Shul just said, "We'll find out who did this," and said when we find him, he won't stand trial.
My.
Now, I went to school with some Hollingsworths.
This little town was tore up.
No kidding.
And he said he won't stand trial.
Yeah.
Said we'll lynch him. And they said that man turned as white as snow and turned and walked off. He committed suicide the next day.
That was it. You got him.
He didn't know that my brother had died. Well, we thought there was another one with him. That's what we got there. And we had a sheriff out here. He was a United States Marshal. He was born and raised right up the street here. And they say he was one of the best, and he was hard on you. Rufus Peavyhouse.
Yeah, heck fire, yeah, I know him. Heck, yeah, he is sheriff in Carson County.
Yeah, and then was Marshal, United States Marshal. Okay, he got a hold of the case, and he never turned it loose. He'd come and visit my mama. If he got any kind of ideas, he'd come and tell her. And he told her that they had some more ideas, and they'd worked it down to a boy that lived at Frost. His daddy was a doctor. Their name was Stevenson. And he was in the service, and he was stationed in Louisiana, and he had enough evidence he needed to talk to the boy. So he called in there to the commanding general. He said, well, he's on maneuvers. He said, have him where I can talk to him Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Get him out of the field. And when he got there, he had committed suicide.
Oh my
Both
goodness.
of them did.
That's what she said.
My goodness.
But Rufus Peavyhouse kept working. He never turned it loose.
Well, he got both of his men. He sure did.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
Rufus
And so,
Peavy-
did they
He was-
find out who the woman was?
Yeah.
Did
She
she
was
say?
a local woman.
Yeah. I guess she was kind of shunned.
And nobody ever got that. That never got out, that
Oh.
word. We never told any of that.
Oh,
No, we
okay.
never let anybody know.
So
It
did she
stopped there.
just grow up here and stay here? And
Well,
did anybody?
she wasn't raised here, but she was married to, and living here at that time. Her last name was, she was married to a Den. I can't think what his first name was. But
I'm curious whether her behavior changed,
probably
knowing
did. Probably did.
knowing what happened.
What, I went to school with some Hollingsworths.
In Corsicana,
Yeah. Harry Hollingsworth.
we done have, I don't have any Hollingsworths here in Blooming Grove. There's a lot of Hollingsworths at Frost and Mertens. I have one first cousin that lives in Corsicana. His name's Everett Hollingsworth. And we don't have any kinfolks here. My daddy's people, well, they were raised here, but they're all dead except that one.
Well, Hollingsworth's a pretty common name
Yeah,
around,
it is.
you know,
There's a lot of, and Daddy had two brothers. One was a Baptist preacher, and one was a. No, he had three brothers. He had three brothers. No, he had three. Yeah, he had three brothers. He had one was a Methodist preacher. They lived at MAH00974, and they're all dead. And he had a brother that was a Baptist preacher, and he was around Blooming Grove, and that's the one cousin I've got in Corsicana. And then he had an old bachelor brother that lived with us, but he's been dead a long time.
You know, I have to check with my sister, but